what is art? What is art, and are art and entertainment the same thing? You know, that's what I did earlier. I'm like, oh, I think I'm gonna film this. Oh wait, hang on, the eclipse is happening.
Oh.
It's suddenly dark. Anyway, I know obviously Final Fantasy 14. You've been loving Helldivers 2. You said in a podcast or in a video that
I
Helldivers
did want
2.
to selfishly, I know you have movies, you have videos about it, but I played a little more Helldivers over the weekend. Probably the longest break I've taken in a bit. It's simply just because we've been busy with the Endwalker finale.
Yeah.
Helldivers is probably my game of the year. I'll be very surprised if anything beats it.
How could it not be?
It is
frankly?
the most impressed I've been with a game. It's just the most I've loved a game since kind of falling in love with Final Fantasy 14. Why is the music so goddamn good in that game? Is it just because it makes me think of things like Predator and Terminator, or is there something deeper happening with the Helldivers 2 music? Because I think to me it seems like a triumph what they've accomplished with the music, and also just mechanically how it functions in the game, because it only comes online when certain things are happening.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just fun for starters. I mean, certainly the main theme is like your pure nationalistic thing. And also, I mean, you know, Wilbur just wrote such a good melody. And I think it opens up a conversation about the importance of melody and why. How many pieces can you hum from Final Fantasy 14, you think?
Probably more than 10.
Yeah, that's huge. Then that's because
it's bonkers. And then I think of all of the MCU, and I'm like, the Avengers theme, that's it.
Yeah.
One. I got one from all of the MCU.
Right. And you know why that is, right?
Yeah, because the Avengers theme is the only like memorable melody in the whole thing.
Yeah. Melody is like, in my opinion, and it sounds super like, you know, extra, but melody is the spice of life. Melody is the thing that makes life amazing. Melody is the thing that it entrances us, locks us into a sound. Melody is everything. And we've seen over the last, I don't know, this whole discourse happened with Dragon's Dogma 2 and with Uematsu, because Uematsu, the maestro posted a, you know, that article where he was basically saying that most video games are now gravitating towards the movie style of sound. But what Soken does is he retains that melodic core that. And here's the thing: how many WoW melodies do you remember?
Again, I could probably hum more than 10.
Yeah, although it's slightly more ambient, but like
yeah, but you have a core theme to almost like every expansion, and there's been how many expansions have there been? You could probably you could retain most of them. And then for me also just like my buy-in, I was so into it during the BC to Wrath era that
so it locked in.
Yeah, I could probably like hit you with like probably half the zones in Wrath. Definitely Howling Fjord and what's the Redwood?
Oh, Howling Fjord.
Zone. Howling Fjord and
Grizzly
Hills. I mean everyone when they think of like pre-Kata World of Warcraft can probably pull Grizzly Hills from their head.
I hear it. I don't hear the melody, but I hear the soundscape, and that soundscape, like, just like it's just so. Well, anyway, point is I think that's why the Helldivers 2 main theme is so good, because it's so singable. Ba 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 ba. You know, that's it. Mm-hmm. That's actually it. Yep. And then you get ba 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 ba. That's fine, but it's actually just 5 notes, really, in its theory, right? And what's really cool is that then when you land and you get to the ground area, automatically, and this is literally in my video, by the way, but like the tension there is it's all just bubbling up, and we're not supposed to remember that. We're supposed to be an emotion. And again, music equals emotion through sound, emotion sustained. And I feel like music is one of the only things, let me make sure I'm saying this right, because I don't want to make a blanket statement, but in my opinion, I'll word it like that. Music to me is emotion that we can actually like, and you can't hold down music, as you know, but like music is emotion that we can physically like hold on to in some way, sustain, prolong, name, you know. How many times have you been sad or happy or anxious, and you listen to a piece of music that does those same things, and you're like, oh, this is sustaining my happiness in a way that I didn't have the words to describe for 4 minutes. It like cuts through the bullshit of my life. And can I swear on this?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, well, fuck. And it allows you to just lock in, you know? So anyway, that's really poetic, but that's how I feel about music, and that's how I feel about the Helldivers 2 theme, especially. I played it last night. It's just, I mean, you can't not smile. I mean, it's just like so good.
Yeah, I as a 90s kid raised on 80s movies I shouldn't have been watching as young as I was, like, yeah, it transports me. Like suddenly it's like Schwarzenegger blind firing into the jungle because his squad mates just got picked off by an alien from another world. And actually Schwarzenegger's in both of the things that I think about. It makes me think of Predator a lot. It makes me think of Terminator a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of similar, if y'all haven't watched the first Predator in a while, that soundtrack bangs so hard. It's, oh God, we just don't freaking make them like we used to, except we are, because Dune 2 just came out, and that shit makes me think of like the golden age of like 80s blockbuster cinema. Even though we had an 80s Dune, but it's very different. It's very different.
My dad used to love the 80s Dune. I remember that was the first Dune I saw. He also loved Children of Dune, the really bad TV miniseries.
I'm aware of its existence. I've never seen it. I'm a huge David Lynch fan, and I've never seen the 80s Dune. Kyle loves it and could kind of take or leave the new Dune because he loves the 80s Dune so much.
I haven't seen the second half, but I'm sure I would like it. But yeah, I mean, but that too. I mean, what's nice is that Hans Zimmer. Well, so what's crazy to me is that Hans Zimmer has written like a lot of really good video. Like I think he wrote World at War, the Call of Duty World at War. Music.
I believe that's correct.
And that shit is scary.
Yeah.
And it's like got that like Zimmer soundscape, but then also there's a bit of melody involved. I mean, I love the again though. I mean, it's just two notes, and yet it's so distinctly Modern Warfare 2 is what he wrote.
Yeah. Well, it's like the same thing. You think of the other, John Williams and Jaws. Like that's two notes.
Yeah,
and
right.
Everybody knows it. Zimmer's interesting because I think it's easy for a lot of folks to kind of think of him as the like kind of ambient tension guy, but he has come up like even Dark Knight, which I think a lot of people when they think of the homogenization of superhero movies might criticize that one because there is a lot of just kind of ambience that doesn't stick with you in Dark Knight. But the main heroic theme when it comes in, like you can hum that. Like when Batman starts doing heroic shit, like is it as memorable as the 80s Batman? Maybe not, but I still like Zimmer.
I mean, there's a reason why
stuff.
God, there's an Interstellar song that everybody plays on the piano. It's like a popular TikTok song, and I don't listen to it anymore because I used to cry to it before everything happened in my life. So I won't listen to that because it's like one of these pieces that just like sits in your body and it makes it feel so heavy, and it makes you think about your entire life. Music is crazy. I mean, yeah. So Helldivers 2, I think that's why it's so good, and it's just like it just hits a spot that's so. I don't know. It's very. I mean, it's just galvanizing, just as like, yeah. And that's it. Like, and that's a feeling enough, I think. And yeah, Hey
everyone, welcome to the Clips channel. Did you know this isn't our main channel? Yeah, you should subscribe over and find our main videos and our streams as well. We also have a podcast that you can find wherever podcasts can be found. So explore the internet. See you there.
So where do we leave off? We were putting a bow on Helldivers. We were putting a bow on the Helldivers.
Yeah, I was waxing poetic about the Helldivers theme song.
Yeah. It's good.
And I think, yeah, it was good. Yeah. I mean, there's almost nothing to say about it. It's just good. And then it's nice that the Terminids and the
automatons who we have successfully wiped off of the galaxy. Clearly, they will never return, and we will never. Yeah, they will never return, and we will not pay dearly for our transgressions at all. No, this doesn't seem foreboding whatsoever.
I really wonder what's going to happen next if a new, more strong version. But yeah, what else are you playing? Probably nothing.
That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it right now. That's kind of that and 14. Every time I get a spare moment, that's what I want to do.
What have I been playing? what haven't I been playing?
I know you've been playing a lot of Honkai Star Rail, which is I am unfamiliar with that, and but it's from the creators of Genshin, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
this one is Genshin's not turn based. Genshin is action.
No, it's
right?
it's yeah.
And so Honkai is turn based.
Yeah.
Okay.
Honkai's turn based. And I swear, man, I played Genshin for like all of 10 seconds, and I was like, all right. And then also, do you like my shirt for all you Monster Hunter fans? Hulu Yaku loops. This is an inside joke, but Kulu Yaku is a Monster Hunter. Anyway, how do you do this for 2 hours? How do you just talk for 2 hours? Even I can't do that, and I love to talk.
It's so easy, especially when Kyle is here. But I will remind you, we came from the world of podcasting.
Oh yeah.
But also you're easy to talk to, so it's also easy to it's easy to burn the hours with you, sir.
Stop flirting. No, but yeah. So Honkai Star Rail is really interesting because I actually don't necessarily think that the music is. It's like fine. The music's not that good. I mean, it's not bad, but it certainly. So it's a really interesting time because Yupeng Chen was the composer for Genshin, and I wasn't into like anime style games forever, and then I was like, the music is really good. Like it's like super classically based. It's got some EDM in there, which is fun, but most of it is like super structured around classical music. And then I started playing it and I was like, oh yeah, it's fun. But it's interesting how divisive it is and how divisive gacha games are. And then it like actually opened the whole door to me to like what gacha games even are. And I was like, whoa, this is actually like legitimately good experiences. But I do get a lot of vitriol my way towards the gacha because a lot of people are really anti-gacha, which is fine.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you and I have talked about it because I tend to avoid games with it. But like to me,
why wouldn't you? I mean,
to me, like the gacha thing, it's one of those topics that people are so polarized on that whether or not you want to get drawn into a debate about it, debates will be fired your direction from cannons, and you can just decide to engage or not.
Now, I would say, yeah, I mean, that's another reason why I really love Warframe is that Warframe doesn't leave you with FOMO. Like you can collect any Warframe you want with the exception of, well, no, even primes. I mean, you just collect the materials and grind them. But Warframe is amazing because anything you ever want, you just have to put in the time and you can get it. But like, I love that. And don't get me wrong, I'm not a fan of like 50-50 where you have a 50-50 chance of losing. So imagine you're free to play. You spend hours upon hours trying to get something. You lose the 50-50 and then you have 0 gems to get it. And then you immediately have to decide if you want to use your credit card. That sucks. Now, as a person who swipes, I'm like, well, that's fine. But, I mean, it sucks. And I hate 50-50. Like the idea that you may not get, it's the same thing as Overwatch loot boxes, but in some ways
and that's why
it's worse because it's a character.
I'm not militant. That's why I'm not militant about gacha games because I like card games. I've played Magic for years. Hearthstone was the last.
What am I gonna get?
massive piece of content that I did, like that. And Here's the Storm with Kyle, which also had loot boxes. But so like, yeah, I get it. Like I'm in, but I like card games. Like, what are you gonna do? Not play a card game that has booster packs? Good luck finding a really good one with an active community. Like you're kind of out of luck.
It's an interesting thing. And I do think that like the discussion around, I know this was a tangential to what you were talking about, but I've thought about it a lot, but also like, it's like, people like to be like, well, it's not good for children. And I'm like, where are the parents? You think you can't? Like, yeah.
Well, that's the thing, right?
I didn't have a credit card when I was 13.
I think it's to dissect the topic and like why I think those of us in the gaming sphere end up like whether we want it or not, whether we want to or not, getting drawn into debates about gacha mechanics is because it's like it's a layer. It's already beneath the gate of needing to be literate about games in the first place to even understand it.
Yeah, it's complicated.
Because I'm with you. I'm like, hey, well, where are the parents? Because that makes me think of like the like Tipper Gore, like the 80s and 90s, and getting the parental advisory stickers on CDs, and the violent video game panic of the 90s, and all that kind of stuff, where it's just like, well, why aren't we having those? It's because, like, well, we're already playing games. Like, we've already gotten past that debate. This is sadly a debate that's kind of exclusively within the realm of people that play games, and so
yeah, it's
because
like
it exists, you're gonna
cycle.
Yeah, it's like, you know, there's you can't play Blizzard games without at some point having a discussion about like the lawsuits and the toxic culture of that studio. It's just going to happen. So yeah, that's an interesting one to me. But yeah, I don't know. For some reason, gacha games, I'm just like, it is a turnoff for me. And the simplest way I put it is, I don't have enough time for games I really, really want to play. So it's an easy way for me to be like, I don't need to think about that game right now. Because
what I would say,
haven't beaten Baldur's Gate 3.
What I would say though is that Honkai Star Rail is a really fun turn-based game, and it's really free to play friendly, which is really nice, because while there's always that FOMO, I think like you could they do like dole out gems. I mean, like, I've been trying to rebuild like my currency because there is a couple characters I want on this next patch, and for me that's like it's fun. But honestly, I didn't mean to become like, and I say this like with like with no conceit in my heart, like I didn't mean to become the Genshin MiHoYo like gacha game music guy, which is partly like I have no problem in saying that, like a lot of people come to my channel because of those things, and that's a bucket of my content that I know that people enjoy, and whoa, and it's really dark, and and we'll come back to, and so I'm grateful for that, and you know, I mean, I do think that music has substance, and no composer, and this is a funny discussion, you know what I've started doing? I've started challenging people and challenging myself for a really long time. And it's actually funny. I've had people that have told me that they've unsubscribed because I am too positive. But like when Dragon's Dogma 2, I played through 28 hours of it, and I got there's multiple endings, but I got the first ending, and I realized that there was another bit of gameplay, and I was like, you know, I've played the game. I've enjoyed this meal. But I'm ready to put it down. Like I'm good. And I made a video where I was like, you know, it's like 9.9 thousand views. It's fine. And I was like, you know, I don't think this music is very good. I think it's fine. I think the gameplay is amazing. I think it works perfectly well with the gameplay. But when compared to Dragon's Dogma 1, I don't think that it has as much substance. And what I realized, and there obviously there's always going to be someone that's like sort of agitated by that, but I felt like it was really important for me to be like, look, I didn't, you know, and then people are like, well, you didn't really finish the game and shit. But anyway, so with Honkai Star Rail, I think it's pretty like, I think it's okay to be like, I don't really like this model. I don't really like the system, but I'm gonna talk about it, you know, in the way that I lost my train of thought again because it's so dark now, to be honest with you. And I'm not, because I'm not looking at,
I'm following along.
You were? Okay.
Yeah.
But let me just say one thing. There's been a trend lately of these gacha game companies putting out single player game experiences. So I'm talking Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. I'm talking Fate Samurai Remnant. I'm talking X Astris on the iPad. I'm talking, oh God, there was another one. There was another really good one. Stellar Blade that's coming out is made by the same company that made Nikke Goddess of Victory. Do you know about Nikke Goddess of Victory?
First I'm hearing it.
Don't look it up.
Okay.
It's just too complicated to explain. But do look it up in your spare time. Point is,
oh my God, it's spelled like Nike. That's why I was having trouble.
Oh, Nikke.
Ah, okay.
Great story. great plot. Anyway, the point is that so these gacha game companies are reinvesting the money that they've made from gacha into these like very high quality single player, legitimate non-gacha experiences. And to me, is a huge win. Like Grand Blue Fantasy Relink is amazing. Like amazing. And a great co-op game for you and Kyle. Just saying. And me.
I do eventually want to play it. Yeah,
it's so good.
That's a subtopic in my brain of we have found a community in Final Fantasy 14, and I'm steeped in it all the time, and I'm constantly being exposed to experiences that are in that wheelhouse. The only issue, the major issue that stops me from going after all these other experiences is the raw hours to get through them.
Like, yeah, well, yeah. I mean,
they're all long games, and it can be daunting. I don't know when to crack that seal because.
Well, here's the thing, man. I mean, all I got to tell you is that there are like 13 other Final Fantasies that you and Kyle need to play through for your community, and I need to come and be a part of and watch and experience. And really, you need to start with Final Fantasy IX, the best Final Fantasy.
So wait, which ones are you leaving out? Because there's more than 13 that we have.
No, but you've already played. Oh wait, no, hold on, my brain math. No, I'm sorry, 15. There's 15 you have to.
Because there's
God.
Fantasies. And then what about 10-2? And what about the 13 sequels? And
no, just watch a movie of 13. So. I struggle with 13, and I'm
gonna
like
need to do a reaction track to Advent Children, but we won't be able to do that until after the third remake
and Tactics
game. And then there's also Tactics. Yes, you are correct. I played a little bit of Tactics, unfortunately, on the phone. Don't do that. The phone version is terrible. Everybody, do not play the phone version. It's very bad. But yeah, that's interesting here. I didn't know that. Because obviously, Stellar Blade is getting a lot of publicity right now. I didn't know that was coming from a studio that has a background in gacha. Have you ever heard me go off on one of my completely unhinged rants about how video games are like the car industry?
No.
So I really like cars. Folks in chat right now, they know where I'm heading with this. I have a couple other passions, and one of them is I like cars. I like vehicles. I think they're cool. And if you're a car enthusiast, you probably like cars that are fun to drive. Those are usually some form of sports car. They don't sell well. Sports cars are not high volume sellers. They're expensive to develop, and it's very rare when we get a new one. They are funded by boring cars that drive poorly, like SUVs and minivans and crossovers. You need to sell those so that you can get the enthusiast experience that you want. Like you need like if you like a Toyota Supra, you gotta just like grin and bear all the RAV4s that they're selling. Like so although it's maybe not a perfect analogy because there's plenty of people out there that do like gacha games, but that's maybe it is a perfect analogy because that's like the crowd pleaser that's going to bring in
that feels
serious capital and allow the development of a more niche product for what you might call a more hardcore audience.
I mean,
I'm speaking
gacha. No, I completely I completely agree with you. I don't know. As a person who, I don't really feel like look, my heart and my home is Final Fantasy. Like it has been, it will be, it forever is. Like if I could only make Final Fantasy content, I would. Will I? No. That's impossible. But I would love to. Final Fantasy is the reason I got started in music. Final Fantasy is the reason I got started. Like my entire life changed because of Final Fantasy VII. Even though I have opinions about it, which we will get to.
Yeah, I'd like to talk to you about that.
But so like the gacha stuff, like I feel like I come at it from like a different perspective. Like I'm like, okay, yeah, it's fine. It's fun. I really like Honkai Star Rail. I like that it's turn-based. The character animation. I feel that there is a high quality, like I feel that it's high quality. Therefore, I'm more willing to invest my time in it. I don't just do it because of views. I mean, I actually do think that the music is pretty good. And that's that's where I come at it from. It's not like it's not like Final Fantasy, where like I'm literally replaying Final Fantasy 9 right now with the 9999 like cheat mode activated because I'm just like wanting to experience those characters again. Like I am deeply connected to Final Fantasy, and that's like a game I identify with. Metal Gear Solid I identify with, you know, the same way that people identify with Persona or with Genshin or with Monster Hunter. I identify with Final Fantasy, Metal Gear Solid, Red Dead Redemption, and yeah, both.
I love Red Dead.
I played Red Dead Redemption 2 like it was my full-time job when it came out.
God, I love
I
Red
played
Dead.
it for 13 hours a day.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, brother. Oh man, yeah.
So like, yeah, we could talk about that. So like, you know, that's my allegiance. But like as far as these other things, like I just like them. That's why when people get really upset with me about Gacha, I'm like, dude, I don't care, man. Like I got no dog in the fight. I pull because
like,
it's fun.
Yeah, if you're
like,
having a good time, like that's.
I mean,
at the end of the day, it's really all that matters. Like you're an adult that can make your own decisions.
yeah. Like, yeah, I mean, I don't like Final Fantasy enough to play Ever Crisis. I'll tell you that much. You know what I mean? Like, no offense, guys. What? Titanfall 2. I'm an enthusiast of Titanfall 2.
That is the only. I gotta think for it. That might be the only single player campaign that I think holds a candle to a Valve experience.
Ooh,
it is up
there. You know what's funny?
With Half-Life and Portal for me.
Haven't played the campaign.
For Titanfall 2?
It's on my
content.
It's on my content list. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm gonna do it this year.
Oh yeah,
so
I've
heard it's like
damn incredible. It is.
That's
it
what
is
I've heard.
I don't want to overhype it, but
No.
How can I overhype it? How the internet has already overhyped it, but